welcome to the H12 Prep Baseball Report. I'm Ramon Scott, joined by Dave Dickens of EastCountySports.com. Dave, more young talent here in our studio. The sophomore from the Monte Vista Monarchs, Andy Canedo. Andy, thank you for joining us. You guys are red hot right now. We've talked about it over our last several podcasts, Dave, about how hot the Monarchs have been. They had a great time in the Lions tournament, and their destiny sits in front of them. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. Why don't you tell us about Andy?
Well, you know, I had the pleasure of actually seeing him in action just this past Friday against the Escondido High School, and pitched a pretty good game. Unfortunately, he was pulled too many pitches, I believe.
Yeah, 99 pitches.
And but he was pitching a great game. A lot of fouls. The pitch count went up, and Coach New had to pull him, unfortunately. But he definitely was going the distance, and they still lost a heartbreaker 4-3 after 7 wins in a row.
Yeah, 6 wins. 6 wins.
Yeah, so that would have been their 7th. But really, the only blemish in the Lions tournament. So you guys did real well.
Yeah, Andy, a great run in the Lions tournament, winning all 3 pool games. Let's talk about that. Before you lost to Escondido, it was 4-3 in 9 innings in that semifinal game in the Lions tournament. Andy, you talk about it. We heard you whisper it. 99 pitches.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Striking out 6. He also drove in 3 RBI in a day 3 win over Walnut. He had a pair of hits in the 3-2 win over LA Roosevelt. Great week for you guys. Tell us about the 3 wins leading up to that game, and the game against Escondido. You ended all the way.
Yeah, we had a plan. Like before the Lions tournament, we had a plan. Coach knew he was talking about us making playoffs, so we had a plan to win every game as we can so we can make playoffs, and we took it 1 game at a time, and we ended up having good wins, but fell short in the 9th inning against them.
But I must say, Andy, in that game, it was definitely a thriller. One of the, I believe, even though you guys did lose at the end, it was one of the more thrilling games to actually, if you were a spectator, the way it was going back and forth. Even there was even somebody got gunned down at third base. Yeah, it was your catcher actually that threw him out.
Yeah.
I think that was in the, I want to say the 6th or 7th inning.
It was the 6th inning, and the runner, he got a double, and it was a bad throw, so he tried to take third, but our catcher threw him out. So
Yeah, so like I said, it was full of all kinds of great pitching, great hitting, great throwing people out at third, and even a more dangerous hit that we thought was almost fair too. It almost took out Coach New.
yeah.
Line drive shot.
Yeah.
So as I said, that was an exciting game. It's unfortunate you did lose that one, but you got to be definitely proud of your performance that day.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to pitch my best because it was a tournament, and I was trying to help my team lead the way to the championship game.
I think, Dave, what it's done, and Andy talked about what Coach New said as far as a game plan going into the Lions tournament, and might have been planting a seed, because right now, as important as that was for the Monarchs to gain some confidence and continue their winning at the Lions tournament, right now they're at the crux of their season. This is the biggest point of the season. That's pushed aside now. The Monarchs, not only are they in a push to secure their playoff spot, they're still alive in the league race. Now, granted, Valhalla and Steel Canyon have gotten out to a little bit of a lead, but Monte Vista, they're certainly in the league race. And you know why? Because their destiny is right in front of them. Their next 2 series are against Steel Canyon and Valhalla. Actually, it's Valhalla and Steel Canyon. Back-to-back series. Andy, you really got to sweep both those. Coach has said maybe you need 3-4 wins to secure that playoff spot. But if you could go in and do something, win 3 or 4 of these games, maybe even come out with a sweep, that's going to change the league race entirely. You guys know this. You know how good their teams are. And you can go in with a bit of a carefree attitude. You guys are the underdogs in those games.
Yeah. Every game matters. So we're trying to change up our game plan a little bit, but have the same outcome of winning and trying to sweep the teams.
Now you will be hosting the Norsemen at your place, so obviously there's always an advantage playing them at your house. Do you know who is on the docket to start?
Abraham. Abraham's going to start it with us, and then we're going to see how long he can go, and after that we're going to see where we're at and pull in our bullpen.
And as we talk about Abraham, right now he's currently got a .60 ERA and leading the Valley League right now. But in many other categories as well. But definitely your ace, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Oh yeah, David, I'll be interested to see what Valhalla does with their pitching plans and their two awesome starters. That's going to be a very interesting pitching series. I don't know what the Monarchs' plans might be for that other game. I mean, Andy's available, but let's talk about that pitching staff. You don't need to do it all at this point. You're just a sophomore, Andy, and we know we have Abraham. He's 4-1, that .6 ERA, but what about senior Andrew Savoy? I mean, if anything, he's been the most hard luck pitcher in the East County. He's got a 1.88 ERA, and I think arguably, tell me if I'm wrong, he's probably been the pitcher in some of your toughest games, and that's why he's been saddled with, I believe, 3 losses.
Yeah, every road game is a challenge for all teams, and he's always our road pitcher. And every time he pitches, we just don't have enough run support, so that's something we have to change as a team. But he's a good pitcher.
So, and then also we have another youngster, sophomore David Vega. He's often overlooked too, and he's done pretty well for himself as well.
Yeah, we were looking for a third spot as a starter, and we ended up picking up David, and he's a really good pitcher. He's putting up some good numbers.
And don't let Andy fool you. I mean, he's right there too in that rotation with several starts this year. Like we said, the 99 pitch effort. He had another game where he pitched well above 90 pitches, 98 pitches. He's 2-1 on the mound with a 3.36 ERA and a save. You remember that save you got? So really, Dave, some experienced talent on the Monarchs, but Andy's a sophomore. You got another sophomore with one of the best batting averages in the league in ERNIE ARAMBULA. He was great last year. We knew that he had potential stardom in him, and he's just getting his career started. And also another sophomore batting over 300 is Bubba Leask, Chris Leask.
We got a really young team, and they're really good. Our ERNIE ARAMBULA, he's a really good fielder. He can hit pretty good. He's one of our leadoff hitters, and Bubba Lesk, he's a funny dude. He can hit pretty good. In the beginning of the year, he didn't start, but one game he came in off the bench. He went 2 for 3, and that's when Coach saw the potential he had, and he started him in a couple games, and that's when he got his starting position. That's
big, Dave, to have extra arms. And I'll mention one other guy that I noticed often gets in there and maybe even more overlooked than some of the pitchers we've mentioned, and that's senior Carlos Esparza. He has a 1.75 ERA in 9 appearances, and he was awesome in that Walnut game, if you remember. So, Dave, Monarchs definitely have some pitching. Their hitting has definitely come around. I don't even know if I want to say coming around. I mean, there's several guys hitting well over 300 on this lineup.
Well, I remember earlier in the season, Coach New said he had a 5-year plan, and he's definitely got the youth, and then he's got the veterans all put together, and he definitely had a mission, and he's been building this mission, as I said, for 5 years, and it's definitely panning out. I mean, you're just a couple of games away from doing some damage in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, you know what happened last year, Dave? No one hit a home run on the Monarchs. This year, 4 Monarchs now have home runs. Andy, you're one of them. DERRICK Wiley's one of them. Who else?
Bubba Lesk and ERNIE ARAMBULA.
Nice. Tell me about your long ball.
So it was a tough game. We were losing 1-0 against, I believe it was Southwest. And then in the 4th inning, I came up to bat. I was looking to hit something hard with Abraham SANCHEZ at first base, and he left a high fastball and hit it to right field. So that started the trend with the home run. And then the very next home game, ERNIE, he hit a shot to left field. And then our first game against Mount Miguel, we were up 11-3, and Bubba Les came in, and he hit a shot to left field also. And then our last game, DERRICK Wiley, he hit a 2-run home run. So the trend was, we're having fun now.
I wanted him to name all the home runs, and he did it, Dave. The one player he did not mention and has not hit a home run, and we're looking at you, Abraham. We teased him last year, and even these guys, even Andy says, we're looking to get Abraham his home run.
It's Abraham's turn.
You know, and often overlooked too, but I think he's such a spectacular player, special player, and I'm sure you echo the same sentiments as DERRICK WILEY. I mean, in the clubhouse, just his hard work ethic, I hear nothing but great things that he just really takes baseball seriously, and he's one of the hardest workers in the clubhouse.
Yeah, he's always working on anything in the field. Like, whenever you see him, you always see a bat in his hand, or in the outfield, he's always working on tracking down balls, and he's been good with that this year.
Dave, you might remember we just saw Derrick 2 weeks ago. We had that all-star basketball game at Mount Miguel High School, and Derrick looked great in that game, and he's a great basketball player. When Derrick puts on a basketball uniform, he looks like a basketball player. When he puts on his baseball uniform, he looks like a baseball player. He played great in that basketball game, but I was talking with him and his parents after the game. I just assumed that he blew off the baseball game that day. It was kind of an easier game, and I thought, well, they were going to win. Well, he didn't even mention it to me. I said, oh, hey, you came to the basketball game. Thanks for doing that. I looked in the box score that night. Derrick played in the baseball game against the Braves, left in the middle of the game, told Coach New, right, Andy, that, hey, I'm going to play in that all-star basketball game tonight. Went over. That's how great an athlete he is. Remember that game Derrick played, and you guys beat the Braves pretty handily. And then, what do you think about that? He went over and then played and they played 10-minute quarters in that basketball game.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny game because we were seeing Derrick up to bat, and he got a good hit, and then later on in that game, we see him packing his stuff, and we're like, Derrick, where are you going? And he was like, oh, I got a basketball game. And we were like, right now? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, well, good job, and we'll see you the game after.
Yeah, and Dave, Derrick has told me that his college interest is going to be baseball, and he is looking specifically at going to Mesa College to play baseball. So I thought that was very interesting, and I think it might be a very good choice for Derrick to look into the baseball program over there at San Diego Mesa.
Absolutely.